यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमो नमः। ॐ ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितप्रज्ञानघनप्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोऽहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita, verse number 15 of 12th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yasmanno Dvijate Lokaha लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः. Bhagavan Krishna is explaining the lakshana of bhakta and that which also symbolizes the prayojana of bhakti. There are 5 levels which have been introduced by Krishna in the first portion of 12th chapter. We learnt there are 3 aspects of bhakti: karma aspects of bhakti and upasana aspect of bhakti, then knowledge oriented bhakti. The karma oriented bhakti have been divided into 2: sakama karma bhakti, nishkama karma bhakti. Upasana also divided into 2: ekarupa bhakti and anekarupa bhakti. But knowledge oriented bhakti remains the same because there is no duality in which you find completely arupa bhakti. When a person practices all this bhakti and crosses the 5 levels, what kind of the benefit we can see with him? What kind of inner transformation will take place? As we saw in the 12th chapter. In the 12th chapter also we saw the definitions of a jnani and the definitions of a bhakta, definitions of the jnani, it looks similar. It means what? The progress in the knowledge oriented bhakti and the progress which is bhakti oriented bhakti, both are similar. I am approaching different way the same subject matter which we discussed in the last session. Now Bhagavan is defining what can be the benefit we can feel or experience when we cross these levels. Once you are matured with karma part of your life, you become very pure and clean at heart. Your mind will get the ability to overcome your own likes and dislikes. Many of us not understood we are suffering because of our likes and dislikes alone. We should not become victim to our own likes and dislikes, which happens always. Not only that, we also victimize others for the sake of our likes and dislikes. If we love something, we would like to achieve that object. In the process of achieving those objects, we are ready to compete with anybody. Maybe they are close relative, doesn't matter. Because you are means when we are victimized by our own likes and dislikes, we act accordingly. Now bhakta becomes completely an awareful soul. He won't be victimized because his vision has been changed. When you are able to see world as nothing but Ishvara, you won't set that competitive mind with you. you will feel Bhagavan's glory alone have been launched in the form of the world. That is the mind of Bhakta. A Bhakta, when you define about a Bhakta, you have to give the definition of a Bhakti as we have analyzed in the form of conditional and unconditional love. So love with surrendering is known as Bhakti, that too with the Lord. That love which is not containing with the conditional aspects. That Parapremaha, that's what known as Paraprema Rupa from Narada Bhakti Sutra. When you are overwhelmed or filled with bhakti, you won't become a competitor for any creature in this world. At the same time, you will also become a Swatantravan, you will also become a free person. The soul which is endowed with complete freedom. That's what is mentioned by Lord Krishna here. Who is able to surrender his likes and dislikes to me, he will become free from his own karma phala. That devotee is very dear to me. Very dear to me means what? He is on the track. He is not deviated anywhere in the name of bhakti, in the name of yoga, in the name of karma yoga, in the name of service in the world. No, he is very clear about his path in the bhakti. Then in the 15th verse, Bhagavan would like to introduce one more aspect. When a bhakta grows to be like Aneka Rupa Bhakta, when he is able to see world as nothing but the Ishvara Swarupam, now he is not going to be disturbed by the world. In the same way, the world cannot be also disturbed by him. This is a different response with the world, So in the last verse, he discussed from the aspects of likes and dislikes, but here he is explaining the action-oriented aspects of a bhakta. When we started understanding the world, we understand the world is the place where we can get all kinds of happiness, joyful experiences. Now we start understanding the world with expectations, and we also conclude the world can make me happy. At the same time, we also believe the world can make me sad. Now your perception have changed because of your understanding, that understanding which was wrong. Because of the misunderstanding, you get a different perception. Due to that perception, you act differently with the world. Now this person who has accepted the Vishwa is nothing but the evolution of the God, now he could feel everywhere the God. Now he cannot disturb the world. World also cannot disturb him. But if we will understand in different way, there are two kinds of people, The people who are very strong. Their heart is like a rock. They don't worry about anything. They don't bother about anything. So nothing can shake their heart. They may not have even the Shastra, knowledge of Shastra, but they are very strong. Whatever the decision they make, they are very firm with those decisions. There are one more varieties of people who are tiny hearted. So sensitive people they are. Now, so the sensitive people who get hurt easily, the strong-hearted people, the people whose heart is like a rock, they are hurting others easily. These people get hurt, these people hurt a lot. Now it's become a challenge job to deal with both of them. So when you are dealing with that strong personality, you will be hurt. When you deal with the sensitive personality, the people who are very sensitive, you have to be very careful with them. Whenever you go in front of them, you cannot use the sentences, the words as you wish. You have to Be careful with your own delivery. You have to sophisticate your language. You have to consider their mood. You become very conscious in front of those people. Doesn't matter how conscious you are, but they will be hurt. Therefore, I have defined you cannot change them because they are very sensitive. You might have not done anything wrong, but they would have got hurt. That's what the tendency is. You become very conscious. And also, we should become very conscious in front of the people, so called strongest people, whose heart is like a rock, because they will easily smash you. You should be careful in both ways. And this is the nature of the world. Okay? You have to be careful. We have to be careful. But what about Bhakta? He has understood the world is nothing but Ishvara. How strong he would be. How vulnerable he would be. How sensitive he would be. So when he transacts with others, he will be like the petals of the rose. A rose petals. He is very sensitive. He will be very careful with his delivery, with his body language, and the way he presents the subject matter. He becomes very conscious at the same time. He maintains the ahimsa. He is very careful because people are not having same mentality. They are not equal matured. He is very careful. At the same time, when he receives the responses from the people, he makes his heart like a rock. He is not shaken by anything. That's what the quality of a bhakta. He knows because people are not matured enough. If he gets a soul which is mature enough, then also he is conscious enough about his own action. That's what the inner state of a bhakta, which is described by Bhagavan Krishna in the 15th chapter. And this is the benefit of a Virat Bhakti. We have to analyze. Because a bhakta, when he deals with the world, a jnani, when he deals with the world, so they deal very carefully with others. Therefore, Bhagavan has told in the 3rd chapter, Na buddhi vedam janayet ajnaninam karma sankinam. Joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. We should not bring the contradiction between or among these ajnanis because they are not informed people. If they are lacking of Shastra Jnanam, we have to become more careful with them. When we share something, when we receive from them, we have to be very clear. We have to be thorough with the worldly transaction. That's what Krishna mentioned in the 3rd chapter itself. Yasmat, from whom lokaha na udvijate, the world is not disturbed, because he is very conscious about the world. Conscious in the sense, he is very careful when he gives something, when he takes something, when he does the transaction. Loka vyavahari. Lokat yaha na udvijate. The person who is not disturbed by the world. It means that maturity. And also, harsha amarsha bhaya udvaigahi yaha muktaha. Who is free from the excitement. Harsha means happiness, but here it's over excitement. Amarsha means jealousy, bhaya means fear, udvegaihi means by the confusion, the state of being confused. Now harsha means who is not victimized by this overconfident, or we can say over excitement. Who is victimized by over excitement? Because when you become over excited, harsha, Bhashikara is very clear, He says, in which one loses discriminating power. Viveka shunyaha bhavati. Means what? When you become over enthusiastic, or overconfident, or overwhelmed by, when you achieve over excitement, you lose your discriminating power, Viveka Shakti. Then at that time, your mind loses to see which is right, which is wrong. The mind loses to make a decision. The mind which fails to assess the reality of that condition or that situation, the environment. Therefore, a bhakta never becomes overexcited one. He won't jump like, Happiest experience means what? To jump. People say, wish you happy new year. They have to break something, they have to jump. This is what they think the celebration is. That's not the celebration. To maintain the calmness, the tranquil mind won't become victim of overexcitement. So bhakta, he is free from overexcitement. He won't allow his mind to go beyond a level. He knows that will cause to seize the discriminating power. Then Amar Shaha. Amar Shaha means there are many meanings. Here we can take a few of them. We can take jealousy and intolerance. And not only jealousy and intolerance, becoming restlessness means impassioned. You know that intolerance and becoming restlessness you can find with the people who are maintaining their life in a perfect, so who are being called like a perfectionist. Because when they want everything to be perfect, they are perfect, okay, but they cannot expect from others. This perfectionist get lots of problem with others. Their mind is, they are very perfect. They will do everything on time. Others cannot do. Nobody can cope up with them. Then, they find hell. And the people around him also find hell. And also jealousy. Jealousy means it's intolerant of somebody's progress. Doesn't matter they are relatives or other people. The jealousy, this mind loses all kinds of good, greater abilities or characteristics if a person has the jealousy. When you become jealous, that's all. So you are falling as big hand. Bhakta doesn't, because he sees everything as Bhagavan's glory alone. The 10th and 11th chapter made him a bhakta. He won't have overexcitement. He won't become jealous at all. And what about the fear? So fear is not at all the problem. The fear is not at all the problem for him, because he has accepted fear is the glory of Bhagavan, as Arjuna learnt from the Bhayankara Swarupam of the Bhagavan. Therefore, this person who is very matured have been free from all kinds of nonsense from his own mind. When he transacts with the world, he is the person who can maintain the smoothness with all. At the same time, who is very firm, who is not being shaken by any distraction from outside. That person who is dear to me. The next verse. Anapekshas shuchir dakshaha udasino gatavyathaha sarvarambha parityagi yo bhaktas same priyaha. Bhagavan continues, anapekshaha. Anapeksha means a person who is completely free from everything. He doesn't depend on any aspects, whether it is materialistic aspects or the psychological aspects, or it can be like ekarupa bhakti, anekarupa bhakti. He is not catch holding or hanging a particular form of a god. He is completely free. Even Mandukya Upanishad says the person who has understood, realized everything, he is free from even Shastra, free from even Guru, free from even Ishvara. It means what? Everything is being thrown, everything has been given up, or what? No. He is able to identify himself with Ishvara. How can he throw? He has become one with Ishvara. When he is able to identify himself with Ishvara, so word becomes what? His own real nature. Now word will start depending on him. That is the secret of a jnani and bhakta. When a person is able to identify with Ishvara, the Guru is inclusive in that. Shastra is inclusive in that. He won't hang with the words of Shastra, because words of Shastra is nothing but a body in which there was knowledge of Ishvara. Once you have observed it, assimilated it, the words becomes what? Excreta. The words are valueless. Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. The words are useless. The words were given life by Guru. Guru alone gives life to every word and sentence which is known as Upanishads. Upanishads means what? Shabda Pramanam. That Shabda Pramanam means, so which are in the form of only words, like Shakespeare said, So what do you experience about the word? Words. Everything is words. Shabda Pramanam. Now Bhakta who knows the limitation of the Shabda Pramana, he is not even depending on that. He need not to quote now and then about the Shastra. He is just, the person who is established himself in that supreme thing. Therefore he need not to depend on anything. He is completely independent. Shuchihi dakshaha udasinaha gatavyathaha. Shuchihi means he is free from all aspects, means maya karya rahita. Muktaha, maya karyat muktaha, that can be the definition of this. Shuchihi, he becomes very clean. He doesn't own papa, he doesn't own punya. There is no punya, there is no papa. It means the punya cannot affect him. Papa cannot also affect him. But dakshaha, very talented. He knows how to transact with the world. Very sharp with his psychological aspects. And jnanis are not buddhus. You always remember. In South there is an expression, sadhu means who is very innocent. An innocent cannot be a jnani. A jnani who is well versed, who is thorough with his psychological aspects, who has got a great intellect. Intellectual means it's not intellectual aspects like a material aspects. He knows how to define God and world. He knows how to divide, how to understand and realize the real Swarupa. He knows the difference between Nitya and Anitya. So like Bhagavan gives the Lakshana, especially in this verse, the Lakshana which suits completely to Jnani. A Jnani and a Bhakta both are one and the same. That's what Bhagavan's intention. He brings Sarvarambha Parityagi Gatavyathaha Udasinaha. So all the definitions hereafter we can see similar to a Bhakta and a Jnani. That we will continue from next session tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.